Hello everybody, my name is Marlo and welcome back to TekTopia. Today is episode 49 and the big 5-0 is going to be next week where we are doing a world tour of all 3 finished villages. Yes, 3 finished villages. We are actually going to be wrapping this one up here today, our ravine village, the Undergrowth, which of course as always is very sad to say goodbye to a village, but it's also cool because we get to see it in its finished and final form, and also we can be excited about starting a new village in episode 51. So what are the finishing touches we have to add into our ravine here to call it complete? Well, for those of you who watched till the end of last episode, you will already know what we are going to be doing today, but for those who don't, thank you for the salute, sir. Let's fly on out of the ravine up to the surface level here, because this is where we are going to be working today. I would like to do some custom landscaping up here to make things look a little bit more interesting, because right now we're just surrounded by birch trees, and I would like to do some sort of a miniature wasteland biome, trying to make it look like some sort of occurrence here happened, maybe a natural disaster of sorts that actually forced the dwarves and the villagers underground to take residence in this ravine here. So that is my plans for today's episode, but before we do that, let me catch you up on what we did last time, where we built the grand treasure hall to hold all of this dwarven gold you can see on the floor here. This is around about 2.5 stacks worth of gold blocks, believe it or not. We did lots of grinding over at the gold farm last episode, and yeah, kind of managed to fill in this floor best as I could. It took a lot of time to get all of this, so this is as much as we could possibly hold in here, but it still looks quite a lot. And as I said last episode, didn't cheap out. It goes all the way down to bedrock, full of gold. That's gold right there, not stone at all, I promise. And yeah, as you can see, full of gold. No, this, yeah, a lot of gold in here, took quite a while, but this is what we did for the most part last episode. And of course, at the back over there is the big old golden throne for the king of the dwarves to sit on, which isn't here right now, so I'll just take his space. We also made this redstone door, which isn't particularly well engineered because you have to get through extremely quickly, otherwise you're going to have some limbs chopped off. But yeah, that is the entrance to the treasure hall down there, and I believe we also built up a couple of homes too, if I'm remembering correctly. Before we start work up there on the ground level, I need to wait until it's daytime and for it to stop raining as well, so whilst I do that, I figured we'd go inside the town hall here and possibly buy the very last things from our architect and tradesman over here. I don't honestly think I'm going to need to purchase anything else after I got these guys, because we actually have only 8 spare beds in the village, and I'm not going to be building any more homes today. We will only be getting 8 more villagers, and if we open up the tradesman here, you can see I've already divvied up the emeralds into what we are going to buy. So first of all, we need to get the 2 miners here, which is why I've got 2 8s. So there is 1 miner and there is the other. And then if we go along a little bit, we find the druid. We could use 1 more of them, I would say. 2 probably wouldn't hurt, but they're quite expensive. And then if we go along a little bit more, we find a rancher, which should actually be 8 emeralds, not 6. So there is that one. And then we go along a little bit more and we get farmers for 6 emeralds, and there's 4 crop types. You guys know how I like to do this. I divide them up between 1 to each crop, so we need 4 of them. So that is all of the professions tokens bought, and I think just to spend these last few emeralds, we're going to go over to the architect here and find the mine shafts, which are now 7 apiece. They were 6 when I last checked, so we're only going to be able to get 3 of these, but that is absolutely fine. Better than nothing. I can still buy some more whilst we're doing some work on the village here. But yeah, that is everything for the most part that we're going to buy in this village. Kind of sad to say goodbye to you guys, but you're identical in every village we do, so it's not too bad. So very quickly, let's head down to the mines and find a spot for all of our tokens here. I only have 3 hearts in total at the moment, so we need 5 more altogether, but I figured whilst we build the entirety of the landscaping upstairs, I would just get these children grown up into nitwits and give them their professions, and I can show you after they're all grown up and working away. So yeah, these are the 3 kids for right now, and I'll keep my eye out for more hearts when the villagers wake up in the mornings. I think I am ready to start work up here on the surface level, so let's put on the shaders and we can get to work. First things first, we of course have to chop down all of the trees in the surrounding area, which isn't actually too bad because they're birch. Out of all the tree types, I would say those are the easiest to chop because they're not really large. You can always reach the top block and you don't get any of those short stubby ones that you have to break leaves to get to the logs like you do with the oak trees sometimes. So all in all, this didn't take too long, and as you can see, not a massive area around the ravine, but big enough, I would say. Next up, we're just going around to some of the trees on the outskirts and making them look like they've been singed a little bit. Whatever happened here possibly involved some sort of fire, and the trees that weren't entirely destroyed just got a little bit burnt maybe, and some of them just lost their leaves entirely, which is why a few of them are just logs. And yes, I know these trees look a little bit different to the rest of the birch ones because they have those horizontal logs jutting outwards. I just think they look a little bit better if I do them that way. Now I'm starting work on the terrain itself, and for the most part we're just making it entirely path blocks because I think it has a really nice texture for what we're going with here. You can still tell it's grass, but the colour isn't quite there as it used to be. It's not as vibrant as before and sort of looks like dead grass in a way, or maybe it's only now just beginning to grow again. But we're also just adding in a little bit of coarse dirt and full grass blocks so we don't have path blocks covering this whole area, and makes it look a little bit more interesting that way. And finally, for the terrain, we're just going around with some dead bushes and placing them down every now and again. I didn't want this whole area to be looking quite as green as it is now, so I decided to add in some different bits of stone here and there. We've got some rock protrusions similar to those on the edging of the ravine, except a little bit bigger most of the time, which I love to add into builds. I do this all of the time, but I also wanted to add in just some patches of stone, and for these I'm chucking in a little bit of granite in there as well, just to make the rock look a little bit dirtier, seeing as it's flat with the rest of the terrain. Makes sense that it would mix with some of the earth. The final thing I wanted to add in over here is actually a small waterfall that has somehow managed to survive whatever disaster took place here, and we're positioning it just beside Conrad Dalakalia's grave over here. For those who don't know, this is where the first and only villager that has ever died in this series, this is where we quote-unquote buried him. So this is Conrad Dalakalia's grave, and I thought it'd be a nice little touch to sort of bring it back to life of sorts. Because this water has obviously survived over this time, it's allowing nutrients to flow to all of the soil and letting growth take place once again, so the grass isn't destroyed like everything else. We still have all of these flowers, and it's just a nice little nook amongst all the desolation that surrounds it, and it's maybe a little symbol of hope that life can flourish once again in this wasteland that we've created. So there we go, that is the upper surface level all done, and I would absolutely love it if you guys could come up with some lore of what happened here. What type of disaster occurred to make this area look the way that it does, and why did it force the dwarves underground into the ravine? You're also good at coming up with that sort of thing, and I really enjoy reading through it all, so please let me know your ideas in the comments. Those of you with a more eagle eye may have noticed in that time lapse that we now have a bit of a chicken friend hanging out on that leaf block on the edge of our ravine. I'm not sure how he got there, but I think he's enjoying himself, so I'm just gonna leave him up there for now, and maybe at some point before we leave I'll push him down to end his eternal just life up there, I guess. But right now he's probably having a good time getting that really high up views, just watching all of the villagers walk by. But yeah, everybody, this is our landscaping up here on the surface level, all done, and I'm really happy with that. Actually, it took a bit longer than I thought it was going to. I kind of overestimated, or underestimated I should say, how long it was going to take to path all of these blocks and then go around adding in the coarse dirt afterwards. The flatter areas was pretty simple, but when it got to the hilly parts I actually struggled quite a bit. Everything else was okay to do, it wasn't too long of a process really, but yeah, the hills and the pathing and everything, a little bit time consuming, but it's okay because we got it done in the end and it is looking really cool. And as far as my idea for lore goes for this place, it just renders in every now and again, it's quite funny. My idea, which is very basic and is why I'm handing the reins over to you guys to come up with something cooler, is maybe the villagers and the dwarves that once lived up here on the surface level, they caused some sort of explosion or fire related incident that kind of caused this ravine to take shape, or maybe just revealed it from, you know, blowing up the surface. And of course with explosions comes fire, and it caught a light on everything else and kind of, you know, whittled it away all the way back, which is why we have this somewhat of a circular area surrounding it. I don't know, as I said, that's not particularly good, and is why I want you guys to come up with something better. This, by the way, is how it's looking without shaders. Still pretty cool if you ask me, but now it's time, everybody, to meet the new villagers. So first of all, we have Sadie Webb, who is a miner, Naaman Talandro, who is our new druid, Dirk Nando, another miner, Dungarth Jones, the third rancher in this village here, Fenton Aliar, our beetroot farmer, Mecklin Noises, our carrot farmer, Benvolio Ekelos, which is an awesome name by the way, is our potato farmer, and last but not least we have Zach Van Devries, our wheat farmer. Yep, that is all the villagers we are going to be getting here in the undergrowth, but real quickly let's actually head down in, we'll actually click on our captain over here, Captain Soraya Van Hayden, if I believe so. Yes, she's got some beetroot soup to eat, but if we click on her with our TekTopia information book and we just do a little bit of scrolling here, take a look at some of our stats, I think the main thing of interest here is the residents. So we have 42 adults in total, 21 females and 21 males, that's cool. With 0 beds, if we go on homes here, you can see total beds 42, total residents 42, so there is no more room left to have. And then if we go to structures, we can see all of the structure types that we have. We got 3 of the 2 homes, 7 mine shafts, and everything else is basically 1. And then the last thing is probably going to be of interest, if I can just find... what is the page I'm looking for? Oh, this is the one. You can see all of our profession types along here. As you guys know, when we reach the end of a village life cycle, I like to put together a little bit of a cinematic piece showing off the village in its entirety, in its finished form, and for this one, don't really feel like it to be honest, so not gonna bother. Just kidding. Here it is. I hope you enjoy. Oh, buddy. I always really enjoy putting those montages together for you guys, so I really hope you did like watching. And yeah, it was a nice look around the undergrowth here for one final time, really. We will be back, of course, don't worry, and we're not ending the episode just yet. There's a couple of things I have to do. You guys running off somewhere too? Oh, yeah. Don't worry, guys, I got it for you. Oh, no, I don't. I'll let you guys deal with it. I'm not quick enough on my bow, apparently. Look at them going about like crazy. It's okay. It's okay. It was one zombie. You can chill out. Relax. So yeah, that was one final look around the undergrowth, also known as the Nakundu, if we are using its dwarvish name. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching. It was fun to make. There is actually one final build we have to add in before we can call this place complete, and it's more so for you guys rather than myself, so a little bit of explanation is probably needed for this next build before we start. I honestly, for a split second, forgot we did all of this and was kind of like, whoa, where did all the trees go? No, I got rid of them ages ago. It's all good. But yeah, we need to talk about this thing over here. So for those of you who maybe have started watching this series since the ravine village over there and you haven't seen the other ones, basically this is how you guys get around when you can download the world tour, which is going to be linked in the description. Hopefully I get that together and ready to put it with this episode. So yeah, you can download that in the description. You don't actually need TekTopia to be able to run this. You don't need any of the other mods I have. You could literally put it in your normal Minecraft saves folder as long as it's 1.12. And just have a look. Obviously it won't have the villagers if it's not TekTopia, but yeah, I always get questions asking if you like need the same mods as me. No, just the world is absolutely fine as it is. But yeah, this is how you guys are kind of teleporting around, or sorry, not teleporting, you're using this horse and carriage to transport between villages each time. So the gist of it is we have our station over here, and I'm going to use this just as an example. So you guys will spawn in here on the world download, and you can go over here and check out Mecklen's Vale. Press this button, and it's as though you've just got in that horse and carriage and driven all the way. Obviously there's no horses just because they're a little bit temperamental, and you've gone all the way to Mecklen's Vale, and then when you're finished looking around this place you can go back and you'll be taken back to the station, and you can go to Asteria. And I am actually going to add this button to go to the undergrowth despite it only needing to travel 100 blocks. I think just for simplicity's sakes, instead of saying, you know, go to your left for a little bit, I'm just going to add a button in. So I think somewhere around here, maybe just somewhere on this swampland, maybe here would be a good spot for it. I don't know. We're just going to build up another carriage though. Gonna have to make this quick because I am being stalked by mobs all over the place, but as you can see, if we run over here, we now have our third thing set up. Please leave me alone, which we can press, and it takes us to the horse and carriage we just built over here. And yeah, this is the map, by the way. Looks pretty cool. We're gonna go and do the larger one that's actually in the school in just a second, but you can see we press it and you're taken instantly back to the spawn, where you can go to Asteria, back to spawn, to Mecklen's Vale, back to spawn. Maybe not quite as fast as I'm doing here, but yeah, as you can see, all good. Haha, let's take the shortcut. So let's go to the school down here and crash into the bridge. Nope, I want to go to the school, which is over here. Nice smooth landing, and we can go to the map and yeah, update this thing, which should just be taking out this bottom one here. And yeah, I think that has updated everything we've done today, so that right there is really cool. The very final thing that I have to do is actually get rid of my crummy looking pumpkin patch over here, because as you might have seen on the map, it's kind of ruining the look of it a little bit. So let's hop on in the water and get rid of this at super speed. I wasn't kidding when I said super speed. That was fast. There we go. Looks much better. As I stand upon my stone pillar, gazing over the undergrowth, it is time to say goodbye, unfortunately, but don't be sad because we'll be coming back next episode to take a closer look around in the world tour, where we'll also be taking a look at our first medieval village of Mecklen's Vale, our second desert village of Asteria, and yeah, of course this one behind us as well. We'll go a little bit more in depth than I usually do with my tours of villages. It's most likely going to be quite the length of an episode, just just a fair warning, but I know quite a lot of you have been asking me to do a longer episode as a special, so yeah, look forward to that. But yeah, guys, this is the undergrowth, all done. I have had such a blast building this, and I thank you so much, as always, for the continued support on this series. I wouldn't be here without you guys, so I seriously appreciate all of the support and the kind comments and just everything week in, week out. You guys are amazing. And yeah, so thank you for watching this episode, guys. Thank you for watching this village. As I said at the start of the episode, we will be starting a new one in episode 51, so do not be alarmed. The series is not ending. I've got a pretty cool village in mind that I think you guys are really gonna like, so look forward to that. Look forward to the world tour, but thank you so much for watching this one. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.